As always, the summer drought is back, but Xbox Live Arcade is helping us get through it. And one game you might consider picking up is Abyss Odyssey from Ace Team, a really sort of cool-looking 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania with a bit more sort of depth to it than we'd expect from one of these sort of releases. They're usually a little bit by the numbers, but Ace Team have done some sort of nice things in terms of world development and combat mechanics that have surprised us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you bring some, you said Metroidvania there, and that certainly brings to mind certain ideas. Structurally, in terms of level layout and platforming, it feels very much like a Metroid or a Castlevania game. But actually, its structure is maybe more similar to like a Diablo. It's procedurally generated, so every area you drop into is completely new and won't be repeated again. You'll be experiencing something very unique. And it's also very loot-based, so you're going around trying to get as much money as you can, buying new weapons, unlocking things. The combat is largely melee-based with a little bit of magic thrown in. You've got a mana bar you need to keep an eye on. There's a little bit of conversation with characters as you go along. And if you meet some soldiers that actually jump in, this is an interesting little mechanic. When you die in the game, a soldier will jump in and take your place until they can get to an altar to worship at, and then you can respawn. But they're significantly underpowered. They don't have magic. They just have a gun and a sword. So it gives you a second chance, but only a half of a second chance because you're a much weaker character.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that sort of impressed us with this, is the sort of difficulty curve is quite challenging, but never too overwhelming. And as you just said, it is nice to sort of play the role of this sort of main character because he's got all this sort of super sweet magic attacks and what have you. And it's just quite a fun game, a bit slow in places. I think we found that it lagged a bit and sort of drag a bit in places, but that is to be expected sometimes with procedurally generated games. I mean, and that's why we sort of scored it a 7 out of 10. It's not an essential purchase for the summer, but if you're looking for something new to pick up and you're up for trying a sort of brand new IP, can't go wrong with Abyss Odyssey.